the Opco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson. Barry Trammell joins us on the phone as NBA playoffs have him traveling down to Houston. And Barry, let's get right to the inbox. We've got questions via email we're going to answer here on video. They're all Thunder this week, so let's get right to it. Let's start with Rick. He says, when the Thunder has two guys shooting 1 for 12 or whatever it was on threes, why don't you maybe see what a Jeremy Lamb might be able to do? Barry, everybody's looking for answers. Is Jeremy Lamb one of them?
Well, it's worth considering. The problem, though, is Lamb has no clue on defense, and as you wrote about for the Thursday paper, and we talked about for several days, the Thunder defense has not been up to par either. And they've got to stay in front of those Rocket perimeter players, and it doesn't look like there's no reason to think Jeremy Lamb could do it. But you got to think Scotty is looking at Lamb as a possible relief to the offense.
Well, and I would say so too, Barry, especially after the way Kevin Martin played in Game 5. It just seems like he's continuing to be under pressure to hit shots, and it's not happening. He's pressing, and he's not able to play the defense that they need him to play either. So if you're saying Jeremy Lamb's not ready to be great on the defensive end, I would agree with that, but it doesn't look like Kevin Martin's able to pick up that defensive slack either. So it's hard to believe that Jeremy Lamb could be any worse for the Thunder right now. I say give him a shot. I say see what he can do. Let's go back to the inbox and a question from Paul about Kevin Martin. He says, after Game 5, I'm inclined to think Kevin Martin is on his way out of town. Barry, what about that?
Yeah, I think it's probably true. We early in the season we were wondering, can the Thunder afford Kevin Martin? And now you're thinking, do they even want him, even at a reduced price? So I think he's harmed himself on the open market in terms of what Kevin Martin's going to get free agency wise, and the Thunder. The Thunder's needs production and doesn't want to pay a lot, and the price tag is becoming moot. It's Kevin Martin's production that's in question.
Yeah, I had high hopes for this guy, Barry. I have to admit, when they signed him, I knew it wasn't going to be James Harden, different kind of player, but I really felt like he had a chance to be that spot-up guy that was going to be consistent from the three and maybe a few feet in, could really hit outside shots, could be that guy that we've seen have great nights against the Thunder. You think about Shane Battier hitting a bunch of shots, Mike Miller hitting a bunch of shots in the finals last year. Those guys that get hot and just hit a bunch. And we just have not seen that out of Kevin Martin, especially in these playoffs, and didn't see it consistently during the regular season either. I don't know if Kevin Martin is pressing, really trying to prove that he belongs with this team. I understand the desire to be with a contender after a career when he wasn't. Maybe he's just really trying to show he belongs, and it's just not happening. I don't know what the answer of the why is, but clearly the results have shown that he's just not able to be that guy for this team. And at this point, I agree with you, Barry. I'm not sure even if they gave the Thunder a bargain basement contract for Kevin Martin, if the Thunder would bite. I just don't think they're interested at this point. All right, back to the inbox, and this one from William. He says, at least I don't have to defend Russell Westbrook from all the haters anymore. Barry, I got to agree with William. I don't think there's going to be many Russell Westbrook haters after these playoffs.
The value of Russell Westbrook is soaring. Sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to learn what life is like without something to appreciate it, and that's what the Thunder is thinking about Russell Westbrook. Think how much better everybody's going to feel next October or early November when the Thunder takes the court and Russell Westbrook is out there for a ball game. It's going to be an amazing feeling because the Thunder looks just so discombobulated without him. The transition offense is gone. The flow of the offense is gone. The attack mentality is gone. I mean, Westbrook seemed to have taken the heart and soul of this team with him up to the disabled list. So, his value has never been greater.
No doubt about it. And, as I was thinking last night after Game 5, it struck me that so many of these guys look like they don't know what they're doing. They look like they've taken a step back. And to me, Barry, it just reinforced this idea that Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant in tandem take so much attention and so much pressure upon themselves that it dissipates on the rest of the guys. They're able to get better looks. They're able to, operate more freely. I think it's just a reminder of how much is put on those two guys to perform night in and night out, and how great they perform even as defenses collapse on them and show all sorts of attention just on those two guys. For them to be able to perform that way, I think is reinforcing of just how great they are. And yeah, if there's Russell Westbrook haters out there, I'd be surprised at this point. All right, back to the inbox for one more. This one from Keith. Keith says, concerning Derek Fisher, I thought the NBA was cracking down on flopping. Barry, what about that?
Well, I don't know if he was doing the flopping last night, but he did get a nomination for Best Supporting Actor in a lead role. I don't know if you saw this last night, but I've never seen this before. It was like synchronized flopping, or maybe it wasn't a flop. Maybe I think it was ASIC. I can't remember. One of the rockets goes down the middle, and both Kevin Martin and Derek Fisher take the charge simultaneously and go tumbling to the ground.
Yep.
It was an amazing thing. But Fisher, he drew 2 or 3 offensive fouls. He got one from Beverly when Beverly sort of tried to shove him around. So, he's the savvy veteran who is not all that popular just a few weeks ago, now is indispensable to this team. They got to get something out of Derek Fisher, and he's delivering. He's the least of the problems.
Yeah.
So, that's the flopping, the defense, the shooting. Derek Fisher's been very valuable.
Absolutely, has definitely been valuable. And think about, where would the Thunder be had they not signed Derek Fisher? And Barry, you and I have both talked about the fact that, we were worried about him taking too many minutes from guys. And, obviously that's the pre-Westbrook injury Thunder we're talking about. But clearly, if they had not signed Derek Fisher, this team would be in a huge world of hurt, would really have no backup point guard to speak of as Reggie Jackson moves into that starting lineup. But real quick on flopping, because both teams have sort of been accused, both the Rockets and the Thunder, of having guys that do this. And I applaud the NBA for trying to crack down on this, but it's hard for the referees. It's hard to know, if you don't see it clearly, whether a guy is flopping or whether he really did get pushed down. So I think guys are willing to take a chance and flop, maybe show a little more, sell it a little more if they feel like it'll get them a call, because at this point, yeah, it's a fine and it's going to cost him, it's going to hit him in the pocketbook a little bit, but maybe it's a game-changing play and the officials buy it. I think guys are willing to do it, and while it might have been admirable for the NBA to try to crack down on this stuff, if guys are going to get away with it and it could be a game changer, I don't think they're going to hold back from trying to do something that could help their team win games. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.